Good afternoon. We are delighted to welcome everyone to the Convocation ceremony for the Northwestern Pritzker School of Law, class of 2024. As we begin, we would like to acknowledge that Northwestern is a community of learners situated within a network of historical and contemporary relationships with Native American tribes, communities, parents, students, and alumni. It is also in close proximity to an urban Native American community in Chicago and near several tribes in the Midwest. The Northwestern campus sits on the traditional homelands of people of the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Odawa, as well as the Menominee, Miami, and Ho-Chunk nations. It is also a site of trade, travel, gathering, and healing for more than a dozen tribes, and it is still home to over 100,000 tribal members in the state of Illinois. It is within Northwestern's responsibility as an academic institution to disseminate knowledge about Native peoples and the institution's history with them. Consistent with the university's commitment to diversity and inclusion, Northwestern works towards building relationships with Native American communities through academic pursuits, partnerships, historical recognition, community service, and enrollment efforts. It is wonderful to be able to come together in community and welcome the family and friends of our graduates who are here with us in person today and those who are joining us remotely from around the world. Please join us in congratulating our amazing graduates of the class of 2024. It is also our great pleasure to welcome our special guest, this year's Convocation speaker, the Honorable Jeffrey Cummings, District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, and Eugenia Castrillon, Vice Dean of Graduate and Undergraduate Programs at IE, our partner school in Madrid. Today, we are honoring and celebrating an extraordinary achievement, our graduates' successful completion of a rigorous legal education program. This would be a major achievement at any time, but these graduates have done so while facing major challenges. Our JD graduates began orientation when we were still masked due to COVID-19, and our graduates and loved ones joining today have experienced loss and pain. The class of 2024 has shown resiliency, support for one another, and leadership that has made such a difference. We are so proud of you, and it is with great pleasure that today we celebrate and recognize our amazing graduates. The 164th class to graduate from Northwestern Pritzker Law includes 624 graduates from 8 degree programs: Juris Doctor, Joint Juris Doctor Master of Business Administration, Master of Laws in International Human Rights, Master of Laws in Taxation, Executive Master of Laws, Master of Studies in Law, and Master of Science in Law. Our graduates come from all over the United States and 27 places around the world, and they have already accomplished so much and contributed so much during their time in law school. They've published scholarship and collaborated with our faculty on scholarly projects. They've had competitive success, including winning the Midwest Regional of the American Association for Justice Student Trial Advocacy Competition and making it to the finals of the National Trial Competition Regional Final. They've enriched our community and given back in so many ways, including a food pantry, an international JD support group, an inaugural dinner event for first-generation low-income students, and new student organizations. This graduating class collectively gave 7,609 hours of their time to public service, 60 students from across our programs completed our student public service goal of at least 50 hours of public service, or the equivalent goal for students who've been here less than 3 years, with 19 students volunteering at least 100 hours and 18 students volunteering more than 200 hours. They've made an impact through the Bloom Legal Clinic, tutoring students, working with struggling families, developing LSAT-related resources for underrepresented students, helping asylum seekers, addressing gender inequities in our legal system, participating in Illinois juvenile detention facilities, participating in programs in Illinois juvenile detention facilities, supporting the right to vote, and advocating to exonerate people who were wrongfully convicted. And this and so much more was just in law school. Following their graduation from these programs, our JD and LLM graduates will make their impact in the United States and around the world at major law firms and businesses, governmental positions, and public interest positions that advance social justice and human rights. Our JD graduates will be clerking for federal and state court judges in 14 states, plus DC after graduation. Our graduates of the MSL program, which is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year, will bring their integrated knowledge of law, business, and STEM to law, medicine, technology, and other companies, healthcare and management consulting, and regulatory affairs and compliance. Some are continuing their education at Ivy League medicals and T14 law schools. Our LLM graduates will embark on careers as tax attorneys at law firms and accounting firms, and within government and academia. We are very excited for our graduates' next chapter and all that they will contribute. Now, it's really important at this milestone moment to recognize the people who supported our graduates to this day and will be there for them as they move forward. We also want to acknowledge those who are not with us today. We know, as each graduate also knows, that the love and unfailing support of family and friends, always and particularly during these challenging times, have played a crucial role in getting them to today and will support them as they move into the future. Mother's Day is also being celebrated in the United States and many places around the world today and this weekend, and we are grateful to all who have been involved in mothering and supporting our graduates. Could you please join us in congratulating and thanking our graduates' loved ones? Northwestern Pritzker Law is privileged to have a team of amazing faculty, staff, and administrators that are deeply committed to serving our students. Please join me in thanking the faculty, staff, and administrators who have taught, mentored, and supported our graduates, and those who work so hard to make this celebration today special. At this time of polarization, challenge, and change in our country and countries around the world, the importance of law could not be clearer, and the world needs the leadership of these graduates. The access to justice gap remains profound and unacceptable, with the Legal Services Corporation reporting that 92% of low-income people in this country receive no or inadequate help with their civil legal problems, and the World Justice Project reporting that more than 5.1 billion people around the world are not getting the justice that they need for both everyday problems and severe injustices. As members of the legal profession, you have a unique opportunity and responsibility to contribute to justice and make an impact, and our graduates have already contributed to doing so in important ways during law school. The class of 2024 also faces a rapidly changing profession as legal professionals and legal systems grapple with the role of emerging technology like generative AI and the lingering impacts of our COVID-19 pivots to more remote and hybrid work. Your ability to nimbly evolve and innovate, which you've already demonstrated during your time at Northwestern, will be critical in this environment. Beyond these major challenges and opportunities in the profession and our society, we have opportunities every day, small and large, to build community, see the humanity in each other, and lift up one another. We are grateful for all the ways you've done so in law school and excited for the difference that you will make. You give us hope for the future. And it is now my great honor to introduce today's keynote speaker, the Honorable Jeffrey Cummings. An alumnus of the class of 1987, Judge Cummings is an accomplished litigator and jurist who served as a U.S. magistrate judge and then district judge for the Northern District of Illinois. Throughout his distinguished career, he has worked to advance justice both on and off the bench. While a partner at the law firm of Miller, Barnhill, and Gland, he represented a wide variety of clients, but specialized in cases involving employment discrimination, whistleblower protection, civil rights, and voting rights. One of his most significant cases was that of a voting rights lawsuit, Barnett v. City of Chicago, that proved that the City of Chicago violated the voting rights of African Americans when it redistricted the city's ward boundaries in 1991. While a partner at Miller, Barnhill, and Gland, Judge Cummings was selected as a member of the National Black Lawyers Top 100, an Illinois super lawyer, and received the Legal Eagle Award for voting rights litigation work in 1997. He's been a frequent speaker on voting rights and other civil rights issues before attorneys, bar associations, community groups, and students at universities and law schools. He also served as a hearing officer in the City of Chicago's Commission on Human Relations and the city's police board. His public service has earned him such recognitions as the Cook County Bar Association Judicial Award and the Award for Excellence in Pro Bono Service by the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois and the Chicago chapter of the Federal Bar Association. Judge Cummings has also served as a member of our Northwestern Pritzker Law Board and has been the recipient of the Darn Clark Nesh Public Service Award and the Student Public Interest Fellowship Public Service Award from the law school. Judge Cummings began his career as a law clerk for the Honorable Anne Claire Williams, who was then sitting as United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois. Prior to attending law school, Judge Cummings earned a BA in Public Policy Studies from the James Madison College at Michigan State University. We are honored and delighted that he is joining us today to share his insights with our graduates and also extend a warm welcome to his wife, Deborah, and their daughter, Lola. We're extremely grateful for Judge Cummings' leadership and advancement of civil rights through his public service. He's given back to the law school in so many ways, and his leadership and support make such a difference. Could you please join me in extending a warm welcome to Judge Cummings?
Good afternoon, class of 2024. Faculty members, Dean Osofsky, friends and family, my wife and daughter and my loyal law clerks are here with me. I can't tell you how great it is to be here with you today and how honored I am. When I learned that the student committee had selected me to be your speaker, I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. And I was really humbled because when I was here, I never thought I would be up here on this side of the stage when I was a graduate of this fine law school. I just want to spend a few minutes with you here today talking to you about one of the greatest skills that I've used as a lawyer and I'm now using as a judge, and that skill is listening. Now, you might think it's kind of funny to hear a judge say, listening, aren't people supposed to listen to him? Doesn't he tell everyone what to do? And it's true on a good day, most people listen to me. And I hope they do, but I listen to everyone involved in my cases because the input from them helps me make the decisions, large and small, on the cases that I have before me, and I make a lot of decisions every day. Now, for you, listening will be important as well. And you say, well, what should I listen to? And the first thing is, listen to your heart. And I say, you need to find work in your career that captures your heart. Because there's one thing about it, you're going to be working very hard when you get out there in the legal profession, no matter what you do. And the key to professional satisfaction is to find something that you love to work on and find clients that you love to have, because you're going to be working hard, and I just can't imagine working on behalf of some area of law where I didn't really care about. Now, it doesn't matter what captures your fancy. I met a departing law clerk the other day. He told me that he was going into space law, and I didn't know there was a specialty of space law, but that's what he's going into. And I thought, that's fantastic. The look in his eye when he was talking about it, I said, that's exactly what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm telling you here today. Now, as Dean Osofsky mentioned, I did a lot of civil rights work, and I love to do that work because the clients that we represented stood up for their rights, and they energized me and the people that I worked with when we did our cases. And there was a time, I'll never forget it, I spent all night working on a Seventh Circuit brief for a civil rights case that we won after a 4-week jury trial. And as I was sitting in our old beat-down 3-flat building about a half-mile west of the law school, and the sun was coming up over my shoulder, and the birds were chirping, and you won't believe it, but I felt like I felt happy because I knew that we were going to meet that 5 p.m. deadline for filing that brief. And I have to tell you, that was before you do the electronic filing. You had to get it down there by 5 p.m., or they close the door on you. And I thought to myself, and as I was getting ready for this, I thought, you know, look, I couldn't imagine working like that for something I didn't believe in. And so I encourage you to find something that you love, because that will get you through the longest days and the darkest nights. Now, you should also listen to your heart when it calls upon you to perform, to donate your services and your work on behalf of people and organizations who need your expertise. It warmed my heart to hear the dean mention that a number of you have done that already, you're doing that already, and I encourage you to continue to do it. I would also encourage you, although serving on boards is certainly fine, I would encourage you to get directly with the people that need your services. And I tell you, some of my best days in law were days that I spent volunteering. And there was one such day, it was an election day in 2008, the presidential election day. I volunteered as an election protection worker with a friend of mine, and we went to Gary, Indiana, to a precinct not too far from where Michael Jackson grew up, in the heart of Gary, Indiana. And we got there, and we were able to help people vote that would have been denied the opportunity to vote. And it wasn't because of the election judges. They meant well, and they were doing their best with very complicated election rules. And sometimes the decisions they would make about the rules were not the ones that were correct. But we bonded with those election judges, and I can tell you that bringing donuts when we came, that helped out a lot. And they came to defer to us when it came down to interpretation of these complicated statutes, and we were able to help people. And there was one young man that came to the polling place, I'll never forget him, and we looked him up in the book, and he was at the wrong polling site, and his polling place was on the other side of town. I don't even know how he got there because he didn't have a car. And I said to him, I said, look, I'll drive you. And so we jumped in my car, we're driving across town, and he told me, he said, his grandmother would never forgive him if he was not able to vote in that historic election for the first African-American candidate that was heading up a major ticket, Barack Obama. And I thought about that, and I thought to myself, you know, I said, he made my day, he helped make my day, because his vote mattered, and every vote matters. And so when you can do something like this, work that's meaningful to you as a volunteer, it will enrich your life, even better than getting paid, I can tell you. Now, the other thing that I would say about your heart is listen to it when it tells you to treat somebody else the way that you'd like to be treated. And what do I mean by that? Well, there will come a time when your opposing counsel will come to you and say, I need an extra couple of days to file a brief. I want to reschedule a meeting or a deposition. And what I would say to you is if it doesn't prejudice your client and the request is reasonable, it's okay to be compassionate. It's okay to say, yes, I agree, I don't oppose that. Because there will come a time when the shoe is on the other foot and you need that kind of accommodation. I do believe in karma. But I can also tell you, you can practice law even in this day and age without walking all over everyone else. Now, I will tell you this as well, you don't want anyone to walk all over you. And let me be clear about that. You're going to be new, inexperienced, and there might be attorneys out there that might want to try to take a little bit of advantage of that when they're dealing with you. But it just reminds me of something a friend of mine told me long ago. He said, when someone steps on your foot, there can be two reactions. The first reaction is to say, ouch! And the second reaction is to get the hell off. And I encourage you, as you go through your legal experience, to be good to everyone else, but don't let anyone else trample all over you. Now, it's also important to listen to that inner voice in your head. Sometimes it pops up and it says, well, I know we have a plan. I know there's a protocol for doing what we need to do, but this situation is a little bit different. This is a special situation. As lawyers and judges, we always have plans and protocols, but the very best in our profession, they know how to improvise. They know how to create. They use their brains. You all have very fine brains or you wouldn't be sitting here today, and I know that you have a lot of creativity in everything that you're going to do and what you've done already, so don't be afraid to use them. I listen to that voice sometimes as a judge. I had a settlement conference once in a case involving the mother of a young man who was shot and he had been killed by police officers, and she brought an excessive force case on his behalf, and I just completed my introductory comments in the settlement conference. We're all in there together, and we're about to separate into groups, and she said, Judge, can I say something? And I stopped for a second because usually we don't have people make opening statements during these settlement conferences because it turns into a closing argument, and then everybody gets all fired up, and they want to fight instead of find peace and compromise. And so I looked at the lawyers, her lawyers and the lawyers for the officers, and their eyes were talking to me, and they said, Judge, don't do it. Don't say no. I thought about my protocol, and as my wife would say, that's a hard no, don't do it. But I listened to the little voice that was in my ear, and it said, let Mom speak. And so I said, ma'am, yes, please tell us what you're going to say. And so when she spoke, she did not tear into the officers. In fact, I don't think she mentioned them at all. Instead, she recognized that her son was troubled and he was not a perfect person. He didn't always do the right thing. But she told us that she really loved him, and she thought, he shouldn't have died that day. And after she said that, I realized, and I think that the lawyers realized, that we had a chance to settle this very difficult and heartbreaking case because this mother was able to see beyond the love for her son. She could see the bigger picture. And sure enough, a few hours later that afternoon, we settled that case. And everyone walked away in agreement, and they made peace. Now, you should also listen to your inner voice when it comes to when it tells you to reach for your dreams. There are plenty of opportunities out there for fine graduates like you, folks who've done a lot already and are going to do a lot in the future. There's a lot of legal opportunities out there. And I can tell you this, the people who get out there and reach for the opportunities, there's only one guarantee I can give you today. If you don't try for that dream job, you're never going to get it because things are not handed to you in this profession. You have to go out and seek them out and get them. Now, the people that rise to the top of our field, most of them, I'm not going to say all, but most of them have experienced setbacks. They didn't always get what they wanted to get. And the key is, how do you deal with those setbacks? I can tell you, I applied 4 times before I was selected to become a district judge, and I had to apply more than once to become a magistrate judge, and when I did not have success, or you might even call it I had a failure, I didn't sit back and say, wow, the system's rigged against me. boy, this thing it's just unfair. I didn't look at it that way. Instead, what I did is I turned around, looked at my credentials, and I said, you know, what can I do to make myself a better candidate? What experience can I gain to make myself a more attractive person to pick? And so I went out and I became a hearing officer for the city's police board and became like an administrative law judge. I was hearing cases, very much like the trials that we have, except no jury. And it all ended up working out. But you got to remember, when you do not experience success the first time, you had to persist, and you had to be a little hard-headed, and you had to listen to that inner voice that tells you you can do it. Now, the other thing that you should really listen to in this process is the people that are involved in your legal matter. Your clients, number one, you want to make sure you know what they want, and sometimes what they want changes. You may have a client that says, I want to take my case all the way to the Supreme Court. But somewhere along the line, she decides, I think I've had enough of this litigation. I want to settle my case. You may have a business you're representing. You know you can get them a multi-million-dollar deal, and that's what they want. But then they decide, I'll settle for half of that. You have to listen to your client because it's not about you. It's about what you're doing for them. And a lot of the lawyers run into problems when they make the case more about themselves than about their clients. Now, you also have to listen to your opposing counsel. You may think you know everything that they're going to say, but sometimes they may come to you and say something that, or they may, in their argument, they may actually agree with something you're saying, believe it or not, or they may make a concession that really hurts their case. And so you got to keep your ears open. Sometimes they may say something you've never thought about and you don't know how to deal with, but you got to think on your feet and figure out a response. And sometimes they may come up in your negotiation and they say, well, we've talked about a lot of things. My client would really like this. And come to think of it, your client really wants that too. And you could come to a solution by listening to your opponent. It's a very good thing. And last but not least, you need to listen to the judge or the mediator you're in front of, as I said before. When the judge asks you a question, it's good to answer that question because we really want to know the answer. It's not just, it's not Socratic. It's, for most of us, it's really we want the answer. And you're not doing yourself any favors by giving an evasive answer or just going ahead with your script because it could be that we already agree with 90% of what you're saying. We just need that one little bit of information to say we're going to rule for you. But if you don't provide that information, you may lose out on an opportunity. And when you get in a settlement conference or a negotiation, the mediator is very important to listen to because they want you to succeed. They want you to come together and make a deal with the other side. And they're in the other room with the other side. And if you play your cards right, you might actually get them to do the work for you. I mean, when I was a magistrate judge, I would do 2 or 3 of these a week, so I did hundreds of them. And sometimes I got to the end of it, I said, I did that negotiation. They didn't do anything except say, Judge, what do you think we should do? I tell them, and they say, that sounds good. I go back over and come back. What do you think we should do? Well, try this. That sounds good. And at the end of it, they get a settlement. And sometimes you can let the judge do all the cooking, and you can end up eating with very little effort if you listen to the court. And they tend to have more success if you listen. Now, finally, I want to leave you with one last thing because my inner voice is telling me the clock is ticking. And I don't want to take too much time here today, but I'll leave you with this last thing, and it's a little bit of a riddle. There is a priceless thing that you all have that can be lost in a moment, and if you lose it, you can't buy it back, and it's very difficult to rebuild. What would that be? Well, your reputation. Your reputation. I can't tell you how important that is in the legal profession. It is important to your colleagues you work with. It is important to judges. It is important to clients. And your reputation is someone who could be trusted, not only to do what they say they're going to do, but if you cite a case, a judge might say, well, this person they come from a very good place, they've done very good work, I think, well, it's likely to be correct. You want to be that kind of lawyer that maintains your reputation, whatever you need to do. You don't want to be the person that is the butt of one of those lawyer jokes or that goes viral for, you know, maybe you use AI to write your brief and a fictitious case pops up with a fictitious quote. Now, I'm told that comes about because the machine hallucinates, and I'm not quite sure how a machine hallucinates, but that's what happens. And I can tell you, if that happens to you, you should not expect a lot of mercy from a judge, because we don't do it like that. But you don't want to be that sort of person. You want to have your reputation intact and do that by associating with people who are held in high esteem, because it will rub off on you. I worked at a place for many years, and I got to the bench, and I've seen some lawyers do things, and I said, it never would have entered my mind to do that, because the people that I worked with were steering me, helping steer me on the right path. You know, we just didn't do some things that you see out there, so that's important. And if you ever have any questions, there's always someone you can ask for assistance to say, am I making the right decision? Should I do something a little different? You want to do that rather than just taking action. And if you maintain your reputation, I know you're just beginning your legal career, but when you get to the end, and you could say to yourself, I practice law with professionalism, with honor, with integrity, and with compassion, you will have had a beautiful career. And I think I have complete faith that all of you are capable, and you will achieve that result if you put your mind to it. And so with that, I want to tell you, congratulations, class of 2024. I can't even begin to tell you how happy I am for you all and how grateful I am that you decided to bring me here to share in this celebration with you. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you, Judge Cummings, for sharing these meaningful and inspiring insights for the class of 2024 and for celebrating this special occasion with us. We're extremely grateful, and what wonderful advice to our graduates as they embark upon their legal career. We're now very pleased to introduce our student speakers, who will share their remarks and then introduce the LLM, JD, and MSL classes before their hooding ceremony. At Northwestern Pritzker Law, we follow an academic tradition that dates back to the 13th century, which you can read more about in your program. After each student speaker has concluded, each graduate will be called by name and come forward and be adorned with an academic hood signifying their degree. Faculty closely involved with each degree program will help to distribute the hoods. We ask that each and every one of you stay in the theater through the entire ceremony as a sign of respect for all members of the class of 2024. So it's a long-standing tradition at Northwestern Pritzker Law for the graduating class to select some of their classmates to deliver remarks. This year's class has selected 3 speakers: an LLM graduate, a JD graduate, and a graduate of our Master of Science in Law program. They are Raul Archundia, Berto Aguayo, and Cameron Brown. So we will first hear from Raul Archundia before he introduces the LLM class of 2024. Hailing from the vibrant metropolis of Mexico City, Raul brings with him a wealth of experience and expertise that enriches our academic community. He graduated from the prestigious Centro de Investigación y Docencia Económicas and he has spent the last 7 years honing his skills as a lawyer in the corporate and finance sector, specializing in project finance, restructuring, real estate, and M&A. Throughout his time here at Northwestern Pritzker Law, Raul has been an exemplary student, balancing the rigors of academia with an unwavering commitment to extracurricular engagement. From his leadership within the LLM community to his active involvement in the Latinx Law Student Association, Raul has demonstrated a dedication to fostering inclusivity and diversity within our institution. Furthermore, his academic pursuits have been nothing short of outstanding, as evidenced by the innovative work he's undertaken during his courses. Looking ahead, Raul's ambitions extend beyond the confines of our campus as he seeks to leverage the OPT program to embark on a new chapter of his career in the United States. His unwavering determination and passion for the law are sure to propel him to great heights, and we have no doubt that he will continue to make significant contributions to the legal profession. Please join us in welcoming Raul Archundia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dean Osofsky. Esteemed faculty, distinguished guests, proud parents, but most importantly, the exceptional graduates of Northwestern Pritzker School of Law. Allow me to begin by sharing a fun fact for you guys. Today, May the 10th, marks one of the major holidays in my home country, Mexico, Mother's Day. In light of this, I'd like to thank my own mother and my entire family for showing up for me today and every day of my life. I extend this gratitude to the families of every member of the LLM class who have made their way from all corners of the world to offer their support for their kids, regardless if they're fulfilling this program at 21 or 37. Either physically present or joining us virtually via Zoom, our families, both by blood and by choice, have played an instrumental role in shaping the individuals we have become. We owe them a debt of gratitude for their love, guidance, and sacrifices. I am not sure if we owe them more than the debt we've accumulated this year, but their support remains invaluable nonetheless. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. As we gather here today, I am filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunity to stand before you as your speaker. Gratitude to each and every one of you, my fellow graduates, who have become an integral part of this endeavor. And gratitude for this life adventure we got to enjoy together. For those who do not know a lot about the LLM community, let me tell you, we do got it all. Some people got married, some people got pregnant, some people fell in love and out of love, others ran marathons, and others set their apartment on fire. And I can assure you that more than often than not, people got drunk. Standing here now, it may seem like only a year passed since this experience began. But for many of us, the road leading up to this moment started long before ago. After navigating the hurdles of the acceptance process and securing the necessary funds to embark on this adventure, we all packed our bags, braced ourselves for a new voyage, and selected our best winter clothes, which of course are never really enough for Chicago's winter, and then gathered here to begin our new studies. By the time we got off the plane, we realized things are quite different than back home, and that we needed to stop converting prices with our home countries because we would fall in a pit of despair by the astronomical cost of everything. However, something remains the same here and everywhere: the universal language of laughter and kindness. During our time in the LLM program, we have transcended the barriers of tradition and dialect, finding common ground through universal values such as trust, compassion, empathy, and of course, Mexican food. But really, this experience has been proof of how our differences really makes us stronger, that two heads really are better than one, that honesty is really the best policy, and that deep dish pizza really is the best pizza, unless you're from outside Chicago. Really, This experience has made me sure that it's true that people will forget what you do and what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. As we look out upon this diverse community, representing multiple countries, backgrounds, and cultures, let this experience be a reminder that above all our differences beats the heart of humanity, and that we can always find common grounds if we value kindness and respect as global principles. Let us embrace every second of life with laughter, love, and purpose. Let us cherish the global family we have cultivated during our time in the LLM program, and remember that after this experience, vacations are going to be way easier and fun with friends scattered across the globe. These days marks a bittersweet moment in our lives. We stand at the threshold of a new chapter, filled with excitement for the possibilities that lie ahead, yet tinted with a hint of anxiety as we embrace the uncertainties of the future. We're sad to say farewell to the familiar rhythm of school, yet we are relieved to be free of buying $500 books that are only good for 1 year. Come on. In closing, I am so excited for what lies ahead of us, all of us. Be sure that, as Woody says, you'll have a friend in me forever. Congratulations, my fellow graduates, on this remarkable achievement. May your futures be bright, your hearts full of, and your spirits ever resilient. Thank you. And now, will the LLM candidates please stand if you're able, please? Stand up. Stand up. Please give a round of applause to this excellent class of 2024. Dean Osofsky, members of the faculty, distinguished guests, friends, and family, it is my privilege and honor to introduce you the 2024 candidates of Masters of Law in International Human Rights, Masters of Law in International Executive Master's Program, and Masters of Law in Taxation. LLM candidates now will proceed to the stage as Professor John Thornton reads their name before receiving their hoods. Congratulations. I am thrilled to introduce the 2024 class.
Thank you, Raul. And now the candidates for the degree of Master of Law. The candidates for the degree will first receive their hoods from Dean Harry Osofsky, the Honorable Jeffrey Cummings, and the Dean of Students, Susie Spies-Roth. They will then be hooded by Professors Emily Cadens, Andrew Koppelman, and Adi Altschuler. Ziqing Xu. Jijing Li. Shuichun Dao. Hanyun Du. Yanwen Chen. Kuxin Lu. Ziqin Zhou. Xiongli Liu. Xia Qin. Dian Wu. Xinyue Tung. Xingzi Liu. Maria Carolina de Narvaez Arango. Lisa Veronica Caral Flores. Ricardo Martinez Gonzalez. Catalina Zaravia. Sofia Ramirez Huitron. Javiera Crisostomo. Raul Archundia Pavon. Maria Valentina Walker. Rodrigo Costa Lima. Luis Eduardo Zahic. Lucas Pereira. Vivian Paola Matthew Sierra. Magdalenina Toroya Ramirez. Manuela Zuluago Madrid. Alejandra Congote Melguizo. Julian Lucien Rotet. Yang Yang Tsao. Rosie Sresta. Nijuan Jong Karki. Tomas Larain. Daniel Gonzalez Contreras. Gustavo Poblete Barón. Jose Manuel Lopez Castro. Naomi Caneguns. Charlotte Farron. Tim Vekmar. Solomon P. Anchavir. Graziella Charton. Zeliha Irmak Usta. Özun Tsun. Ziwei Tseng. Ingtai Tsao. Xiaoying Wang. Yanying Xu. Sumin Liu. Yusi Wang. Nian Liu. Raúl Campaña Fuenzalida. Juan Pedro Torraza. Fernando González Gómez. Bernardo Aguado Ortiz. Solano Maño Deboni Nieva. Melin Enise Canova. Gabriela Teixeira Pereira. Ariela Kessler. Thais D'Angelo da Silva Hanezaka. David Chiquillo Kamahi. Yan Charabati. Alfonso Flores Pedron. Alberto Matos Abit. Jose R. Beltran. Alfonso Dueñas Barajas. Daniel Enrique Polonsky Mamia. Fernando Penchado Yangyar. Milena Vilas Boas Silva. Noor Sehar Jamal. Bradley James Davis. Edna Hurtado. Leticia Dueck. Isabella Garcia. Maricela Munoz Llamosas. Yu Wang. Jie Chen. Ziyi Li. Wenyung Liu. Nolan Zhu. Junyan Gu. Yuelwin Zhou. Yiwen Fei. Shuying Dai. Chun Guo. Yizhang Liu. Annie Arya. Sergei Losev. Likita Reddy Pisari. Esra Erolu. Laura Hanna Schmerkott. Adrian Felix Koch. Xiaomong Yu. Jiashu Ma. Ling Guang. Yueting Ren. Fei Tao Yu. Xinyi Zhang. Nanxi Wang. Yueyao Wang. Jiayi Wu. Wanhui Xun. Jie Tang. Shaoya Wang. Santiago Pardo. Fernando Cunha. Maria Cristina do Amaral Kurtz. Renata de Campos Nogueira. Yueja Wang. Wenyuan Chuen. Jiaming Liu. Haina Zhan. Tatiana Brennan Bauer Poli, with her children, Bianca and Gabrielle. Zhifu Jiang, Beinan Huang, Haoshui Song, Yue Wu, Yilei Li, Yuhang Zhou, Qinyi Gang, Hanshu Wang, Yichen Duan. Junjie Wang, Yizhu Xu, Rongshen Yin. Fang Shun, Haoyang Xu, Yoshimasa Kobayashi, Ling Chao Huang, Yiling Shao, Nadia Mahmoudi, Huizue Huang, Yuki Wong, Ryan Zhao, Yi Zhang, Shanlin Yang, Yuefang Wu, Hankyul Lee with his daughter Su Yun, Min Jae Kang with her son Su Huan, okay. That is the end of the Master of Laws degree. The candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in Tax, to be hooded by Professors Genevieve Tokic, Rebecca Rosenberg, and Philip Postlethwaite. Nina B. Stillman, Stephanie Sabino, Navina Durairaj, Patricia Kamukamo Birunji, Kayla Marissa Jennings, Adonis Artez Totten, Melba Mustaful Martin, Catherine Elizabeth Johnson, Autumn N. Summers, Joshua Andrew Koren, Errol Oniki, Ganesh Gangasingh, Bahadar A. Panwar, Ahmed Adnan Abed, Benjamin Paul Hendrickson, Sung-Kyu Lee, Hui-Yu Zhong, Guanhua Zhang, Christian R. Siebert, Joseph M. Brown, Dominic Barrero, Paula Rivera Lopez, Sarah Marie Tubiana, Max David Tubiana, Felipe Cabrera, Yohei Fujida, Lindsay Vincent Dunkley, Shane K. Smith, Rachel Ellen Fox, Quinn Charles Coolidge, Caroline Grace Cruz, Cassandra Buzzi, Luis A. Alvarez, where's the? Okay. Camilo Fernandez Lopez, to be hooded by Eduardo Alfonso Fernandez Lopez. That is the end of the candidates for Master of Laws in Tax. The candidates for the degree of Executive Master of Law, Madrid, to be hooded by Professors Eugenia Castrillon, Josh Alter, and Steve Reed. Maria del Carmen Alvarez, Kevin Christopher Kusi Tatko, and for the Master of Studies in Law, Jonathan Roderick Ellis King. Continuing with the Executive Master of Laws from the Madrid program, Yining Zhang, Yang Wang, Astrid Socorro Navarro Smolanida, Charlotte Sophia Maurer, Jeremy Thomas Briscom, Thais Christina Tesser, Claudia Irena Ostergaard, Maria Paz Canal Santa Cruz, Maria Margarita Suarez Camargo, Jing Dan, Federico Barrios Galvan. Christian Daniel Lozano Silva. Paulus Doka. Rokas Yankus. Mariana Jaramillo. Andrea Mendoza Molina. Jean Sao. Damian Fabio Casino. Javier Pellejero. Paulina Stern. Rebecca Maria Carlon Grajales. Anton Eloriaga. Alejandro Artigas Parenechea. Alexis Alberto Pinzon Acevedo. Juan Antonio da Silva Bernal. Maria Alejandra Olivares Parera. Jorge Eduardo Lamo Blanco. Joyce Abi Abud. Michaela Valeria Canelo Llanos. Alejandra Cavazos de la Rosa. Veronica Andrea Zamora Brenreisen. Alejandra Ainao with children Tomas and Federico. Maria Victoria Duque Viana with Emma. Jose Luis Hoyle with Gracia and Juana. That was the end of the executive LLM for Madrid. And now the candidates for Master of Laws in International Human Rights. Thank you. To be hooded by Professors Bridget Aramond, Juliet Sorensen, and Carolyn Fraser. And Emily Cadence. Władysław Juriowicz Billy. Akinshea Ruben Akinfenwa. Teresa Jacques Valenzuela. Tamara Murat Khan Salim. And that is the end of the candidates for the Masters in International Human Rights.
Please join me in congratulating the 2024 candidates for Master of Laws, Master of Laws in International Human Rights, Master of Laws International Executive Master's Program, and Master of Laws in Taxation. Our next speaker is Berto Aguayo, who will then, who will then introduce the JD class of 2024. Berto is from Chicago, and he earned his undergraduate degree from Dominican University. He is the recipient of both the Thomas W. Hawkins Scholarship and Racial Justice Scholarship. Berto is co-founder and executive director of Increase the Peace, which is a violence prevention organization dedicated to mentoring young people, connecting them to job opportunities, and training them to become civic leaders. After taking the bar, Berto will transition onto the board of directors of Increase the Peace and join the law firm K&L Gates as a first-year associate. He also serves on the board of directors of Beyond Legal Aid, which unites lawyers and activists in collaborative pursuit for justice by leveraging legal services to benefit the most marginalized communities and individuals. He has served in so many important roles at our law school, including serving as 3L advisor for the Latino Law Students Association. Berto is a two-time Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Innovation Fellow, including a project this year on a LSAT scholarship. He served as an Underrepresented Students Initiative Fellow, through which he offered his insights and experience to incoming, admitted, and prospective law students. Berto is an active participant in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion's pipeline initiatives, including Upward Bound and Chicago Public Schools Senior Law Day visits. He also served as an inaugural Rivkin Law and Public Advocacy Fellow. Berto's important work makes a tremendous difference, and we are all grateful to his contributions to our law school and society, and the difference that he makes and will continue to make in the lives of so many people. Please join us in welcoming Berto Aguayo.
Thank you, Dean Osofsky. And good afternoon, class of 2024. Before I begin my remarks, I just want to give three very important shout-outs. First, I have to give credit where credit is due. I want to give a shout-out to Drake's ghostwriters for helping me write this speech. Secondly, I want to give a shout-out to my friends, because I would not have been able to make it the last 3 years without them. Shout out to the Clubhouse, Section 3, and all the friends that I made along the way. Lastly, I want to wish a happy early Mother's Day to all the moms in the audience. Especially to my mom. Feliz Día de las Madres, Ma. Te dedico este discurso y este momento. Gracias. On behalf of the best law school class that Northwestern has ever had, let me express my profound gratitude for the privilege of addressing you all today. This moment is particularly special for me because never in a million years did I think that I would go to law school, let alone be on this stage today. My mom left Mexico and came to this country when she was just 16 years old and pregnant with me. She settled in the back of the yards neighborhood in the south side of Chicago, and she later gave birth to my two younger sisters. Even though we didn't have much, my mom had big dreams for her children. She dressed me up as a lawyer in pre-K for Halloween because she couldn't afford a costume. I didn't question why the costume was the same thing that I wore for picture day. But I realized when I was older that it was because her budget didn't stretch that far. Later, when I was 10, my mom decided to leave an abusive relationship because she wanted to raise her children in a household that was free of violence. She became a single mother, and my grandma, as well as my aunt, with her 3 young children who were also fleeing domestic violence, moved in with us. In total, 9 of us shared a small 500 square feet apartment. My mom worked as a hairdresser at the local beauty salon. My grandmother worked at the local McDonald's. and my aunt worked at the local tortilla factory. Although these three powerful women would have loved nothing more than to stay home and take care of us, they had to work day in and day out just to provide food on the table and a roof over our head. The impossible choice that they had to make, coupled with the fact that there were no after-school programs in my neighborhood, no role models to look up to, meant that there were limited options for me. Just 2 weeks after my 8th grade graduation, one of my friends was shot and killed, and I attended my first funeral for one of my friends. A few weeks later, at 13 years old, I joined a gang. Luckily for me, I had people in my community looking after me, believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. A local grocery store owner and my mom made a secret deal that my mom would pay half my wage just so that I could have a job after school that would keep me out of trouble. A local police officer would pick me up from the block and try to mentor me, and he also happened to be one of my mom's clients. And my high school principal, determined to not lose another student to the streets, connected me to a job opportunity, working at an alderman's office in the north side of the city that changed my life forever. It exposed me to a bigger world outside of the confines of my neighborhood. It exposed me to my life purpose, to make my community a better place. Shortly after that opportunity, I left the gang at 17 years old. To do that, I had to endure a 3-minute beating. My mom feared that I would not survive. Luckily, I did survive, and I went on to go to college, and I graduated, and I came back to my neighborhood, and I founded an organization called Increase the Peace, with the mission of paying it forward and replicating the same mentorship opportunities, the same job opportunities that were so critical to changing my life. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and I stand on this stage overwhelmed with gratitude for the village, the community that raised me and made this moment possible. Thank you. And I stand on this stage conscious that the dream that my mother had when she dressed me up as a lawyer for pre-K is becoming a reality today. And I stand on this stage mindful of the fact that I am not self-made, I'm community-made, and mindful that my story is not possible without my community. Today's graduation is more than a celebration of diplomas that won't be mailed until next month. We are celebrating the community that has made our collective story possible. Our families that put up with us, our professors that challenged us, and our journals and affinity groups that became way more work than we bargained for. It's about the folks at Harry's that kept us fed, and the maintenance crew that kept our schools clean. That's right. It's about the folks at Student Services that are the glue that keeps the school together. Today's graduation, we are also celebrating the community that we built through the unlikely friendships we forged over late nights and stressful mornings. The unlikely friendship between a neuroscientist from Pennsylvania, a sociologist from Ghana, and a Division I basketball player from Virginia. The unlikely friendship between a Fulbright scholar from Beverly, a tax whiz from Southern China, and a Navy veteran from Texas. Or the unlikely friendship built over ping pong study breaks between a mechanic from Brooklyn, a political scientist from Springfield, Missouri, and an Italian American from the suburbs, an Asian American from the Bay Area, and a Mexican American kid from the south side of Chicago. Somewhere along the way, we found our people. Somewhere along the way, we found ourselves. And somewhere along the way, without even knowing it, we did the two most important things that we must do as lawyers. As Professor DeSanto noted at our last lecture together, the role of a lawyer is to promote and protect two seemingly competing values: individual freedom and community. And that's exactly what we did in the last 3 years. We chased our wildest dreams while building a community. And that is precisely what we must do in this next chapter of our lives. After all, as we were reminded in our last lecture, the role of a lawyer is to uphold the Constitution, a Constitution whose preamble begins with community. We, the people. As the great labor leader, Cesar Chavez, once said, we cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the needs and aspirations of others for their sake and for our own. Because your individual pursuits may lead you to the private sector or the public sector. They may lead you to a law firm or public interest or something else altogether. But no matter where you go, no matter where your individual pursuits may take you, you can always build community. You can always play a role in making our story as a community possible. With that said, I want to invite this community up to the stage so we can conclude this chapter in our collective story together. So, will the JD candidates please stand if you are able? Dean Osofsky, members of the faculty, distinguished guests, friends and family, it is my absolute privilege and honor to introduce to you the 2024 candidates for Juris Doctor. All right, and now we'll proceed to the stage. As the legendary Professor Monica Llorente reads our names before receiving our hoods. Congratulations, class of 2024. We did it. Sí se pudo.
The candidates for degrees will first receive their hoods from Dean Hari Osofsky, the Honorable Jeffrey Cummings, and Dean of Students Susie Spies-Roth. Then they will be hooded by Wendy Muchman, Annie Booth, and Cliff Zimmerman. Candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor and Master of Business Administration: Yanani Hariharan, Amra Sharij, Wendy Young, Andrew Ryan Passarelli. Vincent Patrick Cerisi. Corbin Price Sturgill. Cameron James Kaplan. Andrew Michael Feinstein. Victoria Bresnick. Daniel Sun. David Dean Bond. Christina Danielle Aldeme. Kian Savar. Kimberly Kelly Charles. Vishnu Nagireddy. Noreen Latif. Zachary Israel Barron. Jonathan William DeVries. Tiara Brown. Lauren Elise Greer, to be hooded by Ernest Lamont Greer and Patrice Greer. Ray Wu, with Jeremy Ray Wu, 10 years old, and Joseph Ray Wu, 6 years old. And that concludes the candidates for Juris Doctor and Masters of Business Administration. Now, for the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor. Yasmin Ilaga. Zainab Bahit. Yena Lee Bendu. Melissa A. West. Sean O. Heather Piper McMurtry. Danielle Jessica Barba. Libby Griffith Youngerman. Sophia Vagnoni. Enzo Huang. Ren Eleanor Martin. Jesse Michael Hickson. Grace Emily Egan. Jessica Rose Rubini. Grace Elizabeth Marino. Colin Thomas Place. Fiona Wu. Francisco Andrés Troconis Parra. Agata Jacqueline Padamesvari. Isabella Spinelli. Annalise Brelis. Keisha Crane. Jasmine Marie Guerrier. Angenique Lillian Barber. Saya Maria Lewis Meeks. Gianna Miller. Caitlin Ann Bradley. Jacob Costello. Sarah Schlesinger. Alexandra Hall. Lauren Knight. Tyler Brianna Bentley. Annalise Victoria Thomas. Mackenzie Maria Elaine Traxler. Ariel Dickerman Whitmore. And Catherine So. Ashlyn Jennifer Dents. Gabriela Menashe. Gabriela Angelique Badmus. Simone Therese Stover. Jacob Richard Butler. Ian Todd. John Paul de Leon Pendowski. Carl Salvatore Steyer. Joseph Michael Pravity. Christian Joel Sanchez. Caitlin Elizabeth Richardson. Ryan Robert O'Sullivan. Samantha Courtney Hum. Christian Rockney Flowers. Adrian Emile Fourneau. Diego Alfonso Manrique. Jesse Ryder Fallen. Joel Forstrom. Christopher Brian Sharon. Abhishek Dalal. Elijah Nathan Gelman. James Alexander Fingerroot. Nathan Winston Celestine. Nyla Lampkin. Christian Javier Wynn. He sang Yo. Rafe Mohammed Motan. Raffaele Bernardi Trigiano. Benjamin Strachman. Asa Spurlock. Persis Maida Tickner Swanson. Mary Evelyn Sakowski. Joshua Bernard Concannon. Paul Francis Piazza. Jacob T. Franson. Ryan Christopher Johnson. Arman Rafi Amerkanian. Kai Hoyer. Catherine Jane Manuel. Peggy Kern. Madeline Noel Urick. Jeffrey Aaron Butcher. Skylar Austin Canfer. Zachary David Furlan. Ethan Finson. Eric Alexander Valuev. June Choi. Song Kwang An. Leslie Blanco. Vanessa Marie Dejoux. Adam Diab Hitty. Amira Crystal Guy. Casey Rausch. Kelsey Elizabeth Dorn. Madison Adele Johnston. Dylan Marriott. Hye-young Chin. Kathleen Nakarato. Ezra Marin. Carlos Felipe Davila. Aaliyah Michelle Chapman. M. Colson Canty. Eric Matthew Seltzer. Reed S. Silverman. Akiva Frischman. Hari K. Kammerman. Yona E. Isaacs. Anise McKinney. Olivia Simmons. Arroyo. Sarah Elizabeth Norris. Amber Renee Mixon. Urama Okai. Alicia Leanne Crawford. Rachel Catherine O'Sullivan. Connor Starr Coop. Sarah Michelle Patrick. Addison Christopher Esley. Elisabetta Sherbakova. Leo Yehun So. Kingston Hong. Chris Liu. Holly Shin. Rolene Hermione Jung. Shuquen Rendu. Sherry Zhang. Patrick James Boothie. Olivia Yuan. Caroline Faye Radell. Stephen Vincent Abrams. Jean Boyd. Callie Joy Ousley. Blake Winter. Riley Patrick Harkin. Laura Marie Bonney. Madeline Elizabeth Nichols. Elizabeth Ann Bruckner. Carrie Lynn Benjamin. Alexandra Style Brisky. Angela Petkovich. And for the degree of Juris Doctor or Masters of Laws in Taxation, Cyrus Commissariat. Now continuing with the degrees for Juris Doctor, David Benjamin Scheckman. Jack William Keller. Curtis Stephen Asher. Claire Therese Godfrey. Sebastian William Richardson. Ariana Wagner. Tyler Anderson. Amanda Lang. Zachary Everett. Sriya Lalita Cha Dalavada. Katerina Lena Shurich. Aprajita Pandey. Rachel J. Ensign Hablison. Madison Hersey. Christopher Rodenbaugh. Michael Day Tolles. Immer Stephen Criswell. That was weird. Samuel Joseph Richter. Peter Michael Cates. Ashley K. Justice. Ariana Anais Hall. Erin Marie Murphy. Caitlin Markayla Donahue. Sydney Lauren Box. Jacqueline Renee Dack. Ellen Foster Schwiedering. Oh, they're off. Okay. Okay. I need just two, because you guys. Emma Olivia Fredericks. Lavanya Prabhakar. Yeah, that one by itself, we gotta keep three. Samantha Silverberg. Chelsea Hannah Blake. Keegan Bailey Coppola. I don't have yours. I don't have yours. Okay. I need one more. I need threes. I need them to come in threes. You need to stay in threes. Tell the people to go. Rachel Sokolov. Ariana Tashira Ado Yobo. Sebastián Abella. Avi Victor Taub with Arthur. Christopher Puglisi. Joshua Brett Kavitz. Alexander Knight. Elliot Foley. Alexander Aaron Bloomherring. Brett Austin Rapshis. Alessandra Fable. Eric Winstaffer. Savannah Elizabeth Markell. Catherine Ann McHugh. Rachel Ann Kipp. Paulina Penkowskati. Jonathan Kent Ramler. Marcus Owens. Kai Fenty. Tatvika Patel. Brinda Agarwal. Lisabel Anahid Panosian. Abigail Kushner. Lauren Solana Schmeltzer. Hayden Scott Sims. Michelle Abundis. Samuel Lane Lala. Clyde Freeman. Andres Fonseca. Tara Margaret Songs. Laura Moon Kyung Kim. Ja Ning Hu. Jamie S. Kim. Yu Young Han. Justin Won Jun Ah. Yuri Nam. Yihe A. Park. Adam J. Bortman. Jesse Daniel Albrecht. William Wester. Connor Patrick Wise. Clark R. Pierce. Jenna Suzanne Seiler. Avery Louise Malinsky. Nia Inez Crosley. Lamaria Smith. Alexandra M. Haas. Ariel Jessica Mosley. To be hooded by Lynn Watkins, Asiyambi. Camila Aquila Pointer. To be hooded by Alicia Hyde. Ashley Raquel Alvarado. To be hooded by Julia Florentin. Neka Ukpabi, to be hooded by Sakia Dillard. Samantha Paige Pauline Thompson, to be hooded by Sierra McGowan. Isabel King, to be hooded by Austin Island. Sophia M. Dabish Horsky. to be hooded by Austin Island. Megan Alyssa Chun, to be hooded by Jennifer Chu. Anne K. Driscoll, to be hooded by Lizzie Bright. Ethan Morris Solomon, to be hooded by Anne Krieger. Victoria Alexandra Rackley, to be hooded by Monica Bussey. Anne Serena Gottschalk, with Stella Scott, who's turning 2 tomorrow, and hooded by Kim Gottschalk. Scott Benjamin Shimizu, to be hooded by Bradford McGann. Victoria Ashley Fung, to be hooded by Olivia Fung. Mahol Ben Melech, to be hooded by Tamara Soliman. Yeyu Huang, to be hooded by Sarah Rosenberg. Dylan Remington Steele, to be hooded by the Honorable Michael Scudder. Yasmin May Havani Burton, to be hooded by Peter Shire. Anita Kinney, to be hooded by Peter Shire. Wan Ni Lin, with Della Chu, 4 months. Abraham Cohn, with Tila and Ricky. Matthew Lockerman, with Leo Lockerman, 1.5 years old. Mark Thomas Trosvik Keck, with Moises Gabriel Keck. And that is the end of the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor.
Could you please join me in congratulating the 2024 candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor? Our final speaker is Cameron Brown, who will then introduce the MSL class of 2024. Before coming to Northwestern, Cameron received his bachelor's degree in cognitive science, with focal areas in neuroscience, linguistics and machine learning, and Spanish from Johns Hopkins University. After college, he worked in a neurological private practice and researched the impacts of public housing policy on pediatric asthma and allergen exposure amongst Baltimore children. During his time here at Northwestern Pritzker Law, Cameron represented the MSL residential program in the Student Bar Association and served as chairman of the Governance and Oversight Committee. Cameron also served as a diligent member of the MSL Advisory Committee, performed in the Wigmore Follies, not just as Len, and served the Chicago community with street law and the Northwestern Prison Education Program. Cameron is a co-recipient of the MSL Leadership Award. He plans on pursuing policy work at the intersection of health and emerging technologies after he receives his MSL degree. While it's no guarantee that Cameron will remain in Chicago, he says that this city, this school, and its people have proven to be a part of a transformative experience that he'll never forget. We are grateful for all of Cameron's contributions during his time here and the impact he will have through his teaching. Please join us in welcoming Cameron Brown.
Thank you, Dean Osofsky. I also want to thank the other deans, faculty, and staff, fellow students, and their families. Before I begin my remarks, I want to make a special thanks to my parents and grandparents and my sister Mackenzie, who couldn't be in Chicago today, but have nonetheless supported me through all my endeavors, all my late-night freakouts, and all my questioning of where I've been and where I will be. I also want to extend a thanks to the MSL staff. They have worked tirelessly to make this program 10 years strong, and I think they deserve a round of applause as well. And then finally, I want to thank the friends I made along the way. Unfortunately, there's too many to list you all, but you have supported me, and I've had the opportunity of supporting all of you through every Power Week, every stressful EPC assignment, and I'm truly humbled and honored to have the opportunity to deliver these remarks today. Alexei Navalny, dissident and activist, wrote a letter from a prison cell in Siberia 1 month before his death. It was the 17th of January, 2024. Exactly 3 years ago, I returned to Russia after undergoing treatment for poisoning. At the airport, I was arrested, and for 3 years, I've been answering the same question. Why did you come back? In answering this question, I even feel a slight annoyance at Russian politics over the last decades, which has so inculcated society with cynicism and conspiracy theory that people fundamentally do not believe in simple motives. But there are no secrets or schemes. It's actually quite simple. I have my country and my convictions, and I don't want to renounce either my country or my convictions, and I cannot betray neither the first nor the second. Mr. Navalny's letter spoke about Russia, so why invoke his writings here today? Did I just want to play a know-it-all law student and say a big word like inculcated? Perhaps. But really, Mr. Navalny offers a point of introspection for Northwestern graduates about to make their mark on the world. Who are we without our convictions? As individuals practicing and applying the law, we have the power to define the very institutions that make this country and the world at large. And with that power comes an obligation to harness those institutions to shape society, and our convictions are what determine what we do with that obligation. Whether we're a JD or LLM doing litigation, policy, or transactional work, or an MSL innovating in science and business, we will be uniquely equipped to address the compounding crises laid out before us. We are collectively facing immense social change, the threat of ecological devastation, unpredictable emerging technologies, global conflict, inequality, and the erosion of freedom. Our country and humanity at large is staring down a barrel of uncertainty, and the institutions we will occupy are failing to meet the moment, and in some cases, breaking down entirely. We face a world, as Mr. Navalny said, where sectarians and marginals are in power with no ideas because their only goal is to cling to their seats, while perfected hypocrisy allows them to adapt and adopt any disguise. A generation is passing through power today with few convictions, and we see them sitting on their hands, more satisfied with making a lot of noise protecting a status quo that enriches them and no one else. All of us here today, however, can take a different path. We have the time to reverse the damage that's been wrought upon us. But first, we must ask ourselves, can we hold on to our convictions long enough to meet the moment? Or will we remain cynical, consumed with the prospect of our inevitable demise while we can still change course? This is a hard question to answer, as it is an oft-repeated myth that whatever is best for our careers requires selling out to the highest bidder. We must reject that. That myth may enrich the well-resourced and well-connected, but it will not make things better for humanity. We must ensure that the institutions we will occupy exist to address society's problems and not the interest of those in particular circles. And we are the ones with the power to make that happen. After all, if what we have to offer didn't have value, so much money wouldn't be spent to buy us out. Our world is demanding that we courageously use the capabilities we possess to take on the crises that face us all. If we do not have the conviction to channel our power for positive and meaningful change, the rule of law will be replaced by oppression and self-interest. And if that isn't enough to persuade you, listen to Mr. Navalny. If your convictions are worth anything, you should be ready to stand up for them. And if necessary, make some sacrifices. And if you're not ready, then you have no convictions at all. You just think you do. But those are not convictions and principles, just thoughts in your head. Ghassan Kanafani, Palestinian writer and activist, said that everything in this world can be robbed and stolen, except the love that emanates from a human being towards a conviction or cause. Is he right? Or can our convictions be taken away from us as well? Only we can answer this with the lives we live after today. Thank you. And now, will the MSL candidates please stand if you are able? Dean Osofsky, members of the faculty, distinguished guests, friends, and family, it is my privilege and honor to introduce you to the 2024 candidates for Master of Science in Law and Master of Studies in Law. MSL candidates will process to the stage as Professor John Thornton reads their names before receiving their hoods. Congratulations, class of 2024.
Thank you, Cameron. The candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Law and Master of Studies in Law. The candidates for degrees will first receive their hoods, as with previous cohorts, from Dean Harry-Osofsky, the Honorable Jeffrey Cummings, and the Dean of Students, Susie Spies-Roths. Then they will be hooded by Professors Dan Rodriguez, Steve Reed, and Peter DeCola, who are three original faculty members from the founding of the MSL program 10 years ago. For the Master of Science in Law, Ji Sha Lee, Vanessa J. Borja Buenconsejo, Alejandro Leon, Wei Shou, Lai Wang, Zhang Chen. Xuan Hu, Jin Chung Song, Siji Li. Yunxi Li, Mayu Mei Cao, Fan Yang. Hao Yuan Wan, Shi Han Chen, Jing Shun Jennifer Zun. Stephanie E. Fine, Mohammed Saad Alangari, Dennis Aaron Pessis, Andrew Mason Tilka, Jamie Bissett Avrich, Addison Aaron Doyle, Yuri Alexander Tomku, Emerald Uchenna Orenma Egwim, Suman Madhav Adluri, Sonali Nilesh Bukta, Amsale Tegene, Makarun Hustuk, Robert Scott Castello, Raj S. Patel, Stephanie T. Sue, Svetlana A. Pachineva, Jafan Wang with sons Austin and Adrian, Karina Marie Wedrick, Sana Afrin, Rima Agrawal, Kara Ann Ferracuti, Abigail D. English, Ken Dong Justin Yap, Cameron Andrew Brown, Alexis N. Nash, Maggie Jiang, Minoli R. Aya, Derek Sokolowski, Matthew J. Astachio, Sravya Prabhala, Chandra Suzette White, Fred Jason Luamu, Becky M. Warren, Christine Mayer, Vivian Moy, Gretchen Ann Knudsen, Andrew J. Zolp, Caitlin Phoenix Chan, Yunchu Chen, Jachi Lee, Ekena B. Onwubiko, Taylor Lee Lichtenberg, Emily Jane Guerrero, Savan Patel, Anjali Narendra Kumar Patel, Tayson Fayaz Thaver, Nayab Noshaba Khan, Xiao Liang with Alex and Eric. Sabu Venkata Kuchibotla, Stefanos George Karavolos with Georgios and Adonis. Alima Jaferi to be hooded by Medina Jaferi. This is the end of the Master of Science in Law.
Please join me in congratulating the 2024 candidates for the Master of Studies in Law and Master of Science in Law. I'm just going to give them one moment to get back to their seats. But as they do, would the entire class of 2024 please stand if you are able? It is my distinct honor to present you with the Northwestern Pritzker School of Law, class of 2024. Please be seated. So today marks the end of your time as a student and the beginning of another equally important relationship with the law school. Today you join our alumni community of nearly 19,000 individuals worldwide. As an alumni, you will always be members of our Northwestern Pritzker Law community that spans the world. And as you navigate your career in the years ahead, we are here to support your professional and personal growth and hope that you will share your insights and your supports, paying it forward with the students who come after you. None of us can predict the opportunities and the challenges of life, as the challenges of the past 3 years certainly have profoundly highlighted. But we encourage you to embrace the synergies and synchronicities, the learning that comes from our challenge, and the opportunities to advance justice and to make a difference. Apply for that job and walk through that unexpectedly open door, even if you're not quite sure you're qualified. As you take your next steps forward, we are all so proud of you and excited for you. Congratulations again to the class of 2024. This concludes our official ceremony. We hope that you will join us at the law school for a graduation celebration. The faculty is going to recess out on theater stage right, and then the graduates will come up onto the stage and recess out the theater stage left. Again, congratulations to our amazing graduates, and thank you everyone for coming to celebrate them.